Hey, how's it going, guys? In this video we're going to learn a very amazing trick which you can use in almost every game of yours. So what this trick is going to be is it will help you check for how much time a variable or a boolean value has been true or false. So without any further ado, let's get into it. This trick can come into use in almost every game. Now, for example, whenever you want to check for how much time a player is colliding with another object, or for how much time a player is flying in the air, or for how much time the player has sticked to the ground. Whenever you want to check these things, this trick that I'm about to show you is going to come into use. So the first thing that you have to do is create a script. That's all we're going to do. We're not going to do any designing part, we're just going to do coding part. So right click in your project menu and go to create and hit and click on C# script. Then name your script anything. I'm going to name it player controller and I will hit enter and double click to open it in Visual Studio. Now I've got Visual Studio open right here, and the first thing that you will see is these two methods and these two using statements. So just delete these, and we won't be needing these for now. Now the first thing that we need to do is create a variable which is going to be a bool variable. So just create it and we're going to call it test. You can call it anything you want, and I'm just going to set the value to false. And I'm going to go to the update method and I'm going to check if input dot get key, no, not get key, get mouse button down is 0. Then we're gonna check if test equals false, which you can just do it like this. Then test should equal true, and else test should equal false. Now what this does is whenever we click on it, it uh, it it checks if test is false, then we're going to set it to true, and instead if it's already true, then we will set it to false. So now what we're going to do is check for how much time this value is set to true and for how much time this value has been set to false. Now what we're going to do is create two variables which are going to hold the time for which the test variable has been false or true. So let's just create them. I'm going to create an integer which I'm going to call false time equal to 0, and then I'm going to create another integer. I'm going to call it true time and set it to 0 as well. Now what I'm going to do is go to the create the start function, and I'm going to call the invoke repeating method, and I'm just going to put in the name of the function, which is going to be increase time, and the second parameter is going to be 1f and the third is also 1f. And let me just set everything up and I will explain to you what this means. Now we type in the method, and now what this does is calls this method every second. So the first parameter is the name of the method which is going to be called, and the second parameter is the time when this invoke repeating function should be activated, and the third parameter is the time lag between the calling of this increase time method. So what we have to do inside this increase time method is check if test is true, then we're going to increase the true time by 1 each second, and else, which means if it is false, then we're going to increase the false time by 1 every second, and then we're going to print the values time false and I'm going to just put in the time false time variable, and then I'm just going to create another true time. And now let's just get into it, or first let me just explain all this. Now what this does is checks if it is true. If test variable is true, then increase the time for which the test variable has been true by 1, and then print the values out. And the same happens for the false. So let's just begin, and let's just go to Unity and let this and get this script working. So just select the main camera or the directional light or any 3D object inside your scene view. I'll just select the main camera and drag this script into its inspector, and I will leave it there, and you can see it's attached to it. Now whenever we run it, wait a minute, I will just get the console window out and set maximize on play to off. And I will just clear it, and I will run it again, and you can see that time false is 0 and time true is 0 as well, but time false keeps increasing by 1 because the test variable is false. And now it says that the test variable has been false for more than 17 seconds, so we can use that value to achieve certain things in our game. Now let us just click and see what happens. Whenever we click, we can see that the test variable has become true, and the true time increases by 1 every second. And now whenever we click again, you can see the time false variable increases by 1 every second. Now you can use this anywhere in collision detections, in any other game when you want to check if how much time the player has been in the air, how much time the player is stick to the ground, or how much time the player has been out of the ground or something. Well, this thing comes to use, and this is very important. So that is going to do it for this video. In the next video I will show some another cool trick which is going to help you make your games better. So stick to it and subscribe to my channel and like this video if you liked it, and dislike the video if you disliked it. So goodbye.